Welcome to South Orange, New Jersey. We're at Walsh Gymnasium to tip off the weekend of Big East women's basketball as the Creighton Blue Jays pay a visit to the Seton Hall Pirates. Thanks for starting your Friday with us. Alongside Kim Adams, I'm John Fanta. Hi, everybody. We've got a critical showdown between two teams who came into this season with expectations of finishing in the top half of the Big East. This Creighton Blue Jays team, an RPI of 15, well in line to go in their third NCAA term in the last 4 years, and Kim, Seton Hall trying to find themselves.
This is an important weekend for Seton Hall, John. They have lost 3 of their last 4 Big East games, including dropping 2 on the road last weekend at DePaul, at Marquette. They've really struggled to shoot the ball, so they're going to start with their effort on the defensive end, trying to get some better shots going. As for Creighton, they have a Big East Player of the Year candidate in Jalen Agnew, who is playing as well as anyone in the conference right now. You see those numbers for Big East games, over 23 points per game, also leading this team in assists. She really does it all, 7 rebounds per game, so she is the key defensively for Seton Hall.
On the other side is another senior for Seton Hall. It's the impact transfer, Barbara Johnson, coming off a 20-point performance against Marquette.
And she was a bright spot for them last weekend. Last 2 games, more than 18 points per game. She's really stepped up her rebounding, which is a need for them. And another player who kind of does a little bit of everything. So she's been a big impact, and she's going to look to motivate her team today, John.
The Blue Jays are 4-1 in Big East play, looking to stay right near the top of the standings. Seton Hall trying to make a statement back home at Walsh. The tip-off is next.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be.
I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Got to give, because Creighton only averages 10.4 turnovers per game, second fewest in the country. Seton Hall forces over 20 per game.
And it was funny talking to Seton Hall head coach Tony Bizzella, John, because he said one of their 3 main focuses today will be limiting turnovers of their own. Creighton, not much of a disruptive team in terms of forcing turnovers, but turnovers is something that has plagued Seton Hall, especially last weekend out at DePaul and Marquette when they had 2 losses.
A couple changes to Seton Hall's starting lineup today. Selena Falaxi, the forward, is out of this game due to an illness. On top of that, the Pirates, they will be without Maya Jackson, the freshman who suffered an ankle injury in his day-to-day. So with that in mind, Alexis Lewis, the Iona transfer, is into the starting lineup. And then down low for the Pirates, it's Shadeen Samuels, the Big East preseason player of the year, who Tony Bizzella is looking to turn it on. Desiree Elmore, the junior, as well. And the Pirates, with a couple of those changes, missing 2 players. But that's nothing new for Creighton on the other side, who is still without Tatum Rembow, was going to give it a go today. But Rembow, the point guard, missing her 7th straight game. The junior nursing a knee injury. So the Jays will once again go with their starters of Jalen Agnew, Temi Sarda, Olivia Elder, Rachel Saunders, and Gracie Gliglione, as Jim Flannery, 339 wins at Creighton.
And he's off to a great start with this year's group, John. He said this year's group may be a little bit better defensively, a little bit more athleticism on the perimeter, length, the ability to guard players one-on-one, so he is pretty happy with this 4-1 start to Big East play, John.
Look at Samuels leaping around here before tip. There's some energy in Walsh as it's Samuels, the preseason player of the year of the conference, and arguably the Big East player of the year frontrunner in Jalen Agnew for the tip-off, which goes to the Pirates in their home whites, and we're underway. Seton Hall swept out on the road last weekend at DePaul and at Marquette. Samuels can't get the first to go. It's out to Lewis, who makes the most of her start.
Two great signs early, John, for Seton Hall. One, an aggressive and assertive Shadeen Samuels. They've been looking to get more out of her. And Alexis Lewis knocking down a three. She's really struggled to shoot from deep as of late.
Creighton last weekend against Providence, 22 assists on 25 field goals.
The Jays do a great job of sharing the ball. Jalen Agnew, their leading scorer, also leading them in assists.
It will stay with the Jays as Saunders fought for it. Creighton last week down at home against Providence. They faced deficits, but the comeback has been no stranger for them.
Yeah, many of their games, 8 of the 12 wins actually, have been from come-from-behind fashion. They have shown the ability to really fight their way out of holes and grind out some gritty wins.
Here's Elger, the senior, with the kick, the pull-up three. One off, Agnew in a fight for it, and the Pirates come out with it. Elmore to Park Lane, the crafty freshman. Seton Hall, 2 straight threes out of the gates.
And that was a great read by Desiree Elmore in the post. On the catch, she drew Park Lane's defender way down deep, and a nice quick kick out for the three for Park Lane.
This is exactly what Tony Bozzella told us he wanted to see, the urgency level. Agnew, that spins out. Creighton has controlled this series. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings, but Seton Hall did get them here last year. Elmore to keep them rolling. A 9-0 run for Seton Hall to start.
Right away, John, we're seeing Creighton is going doubling down in the post, and 2 times down the floor, Seton Hall has made them pay for that with wide open threes.
Foul called, Elger falling to the hardwood there. Teresa Stuck with the call, accompanied by Saif Esho and Brian Enterline today. Well, this has been familiar territory for Creighton in Big East play, and they've answered the bell almost every time. Agnew gets her own miss and puts it in.
And she's done that all season long. John, you see the determination on the miss, doesn't think twice about it, skies up for that offensive board.
Seton Hall, they can't wait for Jalen Agnew to graduate like the 9 others in the Big East as Lewis is off. Agnew last year averaged 22 a game against the Pirates. Here's Lewis on the post up. Got it.
Alexis Lewis with the smooth touch again. Creighton continues to double team in the post. That time she creates a little bit of separation with the smooth fadeaway.
This is the Seton Hall team that was picked 3rd in the Big East.
And right now they are tied for 6th with St. John's, who was picked 2nd. So both of those 2 teams, they've had some close losses, looking to get back on track at home this weekend.
Saunders with the travel, and Creighton with their first turnover. St. John's also in action right now on the Big East Digital Network. You could go 2 screens on this Friday morning. They're taking on Providence in front of thousands of kids as well in Queens.
And that's no easy matchup. Providence 0-5 in the conference, but have been tight in just about every one of them, including being up by as many as 14 against Creighton just last weekend and then blowing that lead.
How'd you shoot the ball in Kids Day games?
I do remember one. I remember playing one at St. Joe's, and it was a packed house. Can barely hear your coach.
Johnson hits the 4th Pirate triple, and Jim Flannery has to stop the bleeding. Pirates on fire to start the day at Walsh Gym, a 14-2 lead.
This is exactly what Tony Bozzella was looking for out of his team, who's lost 3 of 4 Big East games. Not a very positive weekend out in the Midwest. They've started hitting some threes, which has been a problem area for them as of late, and they've been really locked in defensively as well. Just 2 Creighton points early.
What's Jim Flannery telling his team?
First of all, they need to locate three-point shooters. They're going to have to adjust because, as we've mentioned, right now they're really putting all their eggs on defending the low post, doubling down, and they've been leaving shooters open. And Seton Hall has had multiple players knocking them down early.
To your point, Kim, this Seton Hall team, 42 for 138 from 3 in Big East play thus far, 30% in conference play. And in the last 4 games, the Pirates have shot just 24% from 3. Today, 4 for their first 4.
It's something I was looking at also for them, John. In those last 4 games where they've gone 1 and 3, they've only had about 11 assists per game. How about this, Sean? They already have 5 in this first 3.5 minutes.
Tony Bozzella said as much as they got swept last weekend, that they had a productive week of practice, and now he said to his team, you cannot walk in here and play casual basketball against Creighton because of how efficient the Blue Jays are.
All right, they don't turn the ball over, and it's early in the season, but, you know, when you're tied for 6th place, you're already looking down the line towards the tournament, where you want to avoid playing on that first day, seeds 7 through 10. So we're only in maybe the 3rd weekend of conference play, but every win is going to be so crucial, as we've seen so many of these conference games come down to 1 or 2 possessions.
Think about the Big East, looking at this Creighton team, profiling the Blue Jays. They have 5 top 60 wins. Nebraska, West Virginia with an RPI of 32, Temple, Northern Iowa, and Marquette. Jim Flannery, in his 18th season, you think about that non-conference success and the fact that they're on track as of now for a 10th top 3 finish in their conference in his 18 years at the helm.
He's built a tremendous culture there. Nobody transfers out. Just about everybody graduates. Every coach we talk to about facing Creighton says they all play so hard. They're all very disciplined. And that's something we're seeing, and I think that West Virginia win down in Cancun was huge. West Virginia is a top 20 team in the nation right now.
Baseline J is short. Rebound by Johnson, and Saunders with the foul. So Saunders with the foul. It'll go back to Seton Hall here. What a start for the Pirates. On fire here. 4 for 4 from 3.
And we will see if Creighton adjusts defensively at all. They have to stay more attached to the Creighton guards.
Lewis, backdoor left open, and Alexis Lewis with 7 points. Sarda short, and Elmore keeps it in. Pirates on the go. Park Lane weaving down South Orange Avenue. Lewis, Alexis Lewis came with her coffee. 10 points.
This Pirates offense looks completely renewed, John. All started with Lauren Park Lane initiating that fast break. And then 2 extra passes, one out to Elmore and then Elmore over to Lewis, knocking it down. She's off to a hot start.
A 10-0 run by the Hall. Jim Flannery making a wave change here to try to send a message.
Right now his team is just choosing to not guard shooters. Seton Hall has knocked down 5 threes, and just about all of them have been uncontested.
Peyton Brodsky has come in, the sophomore. Now here's Agnew. 10 on the timer, nice pass, and Carly Batchelor, the freshman,
That was a nice read. Some more movement offensively as Jim Flannery has put in 3 reserves, trying to find some spark of offense, but more importantly, some people who will defend.
Samuels. Oh, Seton Hall is unconscious. That's 6 for 6 from 3.
Unbelievable. I don't think any of those threes have hit the rim. Every starter has now hit from 3, John.
The answer by Chloe Dworak. How surprised are you at this, Kim?
I'm surprised. We heard that stat. Last 4 games, Seton Hall 19 of 80 from 3. Right now, they are 6 for 6 in the first quarter.
Here's Lewis. And finally, their first miss after a ridiculous start on Kids Day. It will stay with the Blue Jays. Alexis Lewis has been out of the starting lineup. Started the season as someone in the Pirates starting 5. But Tony Bozzella pulled her out because she was not hitting perimeter shots. Today, 10 points when called upon for the injured Maya Jackson.
Sometimes that'll wake you up a little bit. Going in and out of the lineup, knowing that you need to produce more, your coach and teammates need more out of you.
Elmore is fouled on the drive. That's on Sarda, just her first. So you've got a 16-point game as Des Elmore comes to the line. Elmore, the junior, a Syracuse transfer, was averaging a double-double for the majority of non-conference play.
And this year, John, if you watched her last year, noticeable difference in her fitness level, really worked hard in the off season to get in better physical shape. And that's allowed her to get some more elevation on her jump shots and to get up and down the floor better.
We've seen different players in this league take that transformation. Sonia Morris for DePaul. There's a foul away from the ball on Samuels. So the Blue Jays just with 6 points to show for these first 6 minutes. And Agnew charged with an offensive foul.
And I think that's the right call, John. Agnew a little frustrated. Samuels playing good defense on her, and Agnew puts 2 hands on her and shoves her on that cut.
Tony Bozzella calling this a wake-up call game for Shadeen Samuels.
I'd say the whole team has answered the bell so far, John. But absolutely, he's talked to us about Shadeen Samuels needing to come out and give a more consistent 40 minutes on both ends.
Lauren Parkland, extra pass. Back to the freshman from Samuels. Rebound by Smith. Elmore just short, and the Jays come up with a stop.
Some contact on that one, I thought, but right now Seton Hall just winning the hustle plays, getting extra boards, getting on the floor, and that's 2 on Shadeen Samuels now. Something to note.
Bachelor fouled, and that one actually on Lauren Park Lane, her first. So that's good news for Tony Bozzella. Pirates go to their bench to Alexia Alesh for Elmore, the freshman. And here's Carly Bachelor at the line, the freshman. She was a star athlete at Washburn High School in Kansas. Earned a combined 12 letters, Kim, in basketball, soccer, and volleyball.
That's pretty good. She kept busy. But I've been impressed by her, watching her live and on tape a little bit. She seems to have very good instincts as to where she is on the floor. She gets a lot of her scoring off of cuts or rolling off of screens.
A state champion in high school. Here's Samuels, got so far down inside and finishes.
Yeah, John, she had great position there. If you're Agnew, you have to push her out a little bit because Samuels was able to use the rim to protect her from Agnew.
Pull up 3 is short. Agnew on the cleanup. 4 points for the senior star, who's averaging 23 per game in Big East play. Park Lane left open. And the Jays come up with the stop. Batchelor with the board.
Seton Hall has cooled down from 3 a little bit. They've missed their last 3 after starting 6 of 6.
Sarda, now Batchelor with the board. Brodsky was fouled, and Creighton has woken up.
They have. It's definitely started by missing some shots on the other end from Seton Hall. I think that shell-shocked the Jays a little bit to start, but now they need to start capitalizing on the other end, getting back into their sets. They've had a few offensive boards, which always helps get the energy up a little bit, get some easy 2s, get to the free throw line.
Brodsky hitting the first. Perhaps the biggest number from this first quarter. Seton Hall with no turnovers.
And that's impressive. They had more than 20 in both games, out at DePaul, out at Marquette last weekend. And as we mentioned, Tony Bozzella, that was one of his 3 keys for today. Not giving up turnovers, not giving up easy baskets for Creighton.
Kind of Hofschild off to Alesh, who pulls the trigger. And Seton Hall has fallen in love with that 3. 0 for their last 4 now. Pull up. Brodsky just short. Rebound by Saunders. After the fight for it, it will stay with Creighton for a 3rd opportunity. Well, D.D. Pryor fighting for it there. Pryor, who only averages 3 minutes per game, has come in here late in this first quarter because Jim Flannery needed to hit the reset button.
And most of his players, they're known for playing hard, for getting extra boards, for making the right plays. And his starting group didn't get off to a good start, but his reserves have come in and done a solid job.
Saunders back to Pryor, now 10 on the shot clock. The freshman stuck. Now Pryor down the lane. What a finish for D.D.
That was not an easy finish. She was going across the lane. A couple Pirate players in the paint there, able to shift her body and get it high up on the glass.
How about this response from the Jays?
It's impressive. At first they were out of sorts, I think a little confused as to what was happening, but they've locked in defensively, done a better job of getting out on shooters.
Alesh and 1.
And now we're seeing Seton Hall, you mentioned it, John, they've been settling for those 3s a little bit after they started off 6 of 6, but Creighton has adjusted. Now the Pirates attacking and finding some nice interior passing off of penetration.
Alexia, a University of Massachusetts transfer, and a Basking Ridge, New Jersey native. Shout out to our colleague Megan Caffrey. Gets the 3-point play. Now this Creighton team only allows 60 points per game, just a hair over that. Seton Hall with 29 in the opening quarter. Sarda has taken the reins at point guard for the injured Tatum Rembow. Jim Flannery really proud of the job she's done. Ball in her hands now with 8. Sarda, illegal screen on Agnew. And for Agnew, that's her 2nd foul.
And that's her 2nd offensive foul. John, she had the first one on a cut. Now this one on a moving screen, visibly frustrated.
Park Lane with 2. Kick to the corner. Alesh, an exclamation point on the opening quarter.
7 first quarter 3-pointers for this Pirates team, who was shooting just 25% from deep in their last 4 games, John.
Alexia Alesh with her own 6-0 run to close out the opening stanza, and Seton Hall up 18 on Creighton after 1 on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. you have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that. All right, we've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're going to work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Storm. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Well, Kim Adams, Seton Hall up 18 after 1. Let's join the third member of our team, Ashley Liotis. Hi, Ashley.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I know you probably mentioned a few injuries out for Seton Hall today. Maya Jackson, that freshman, out with that ankle injury. She actually landed down on it wrong a couple days ago. She is out. Alexis Lewis in for her, and head coach Bazella said to us earlier that for them to win this game, Alexis Lewis is going to need to have an amazing game. Well, I'll tell you this, after 1, she has 10 points. So they are doing their job, and that's Lawn Park Lane for another 3. The women coming in to start this thing off, coming in, subbing in for some of those injuries, are off to a very good start, guys.
Thanks so much, Ashley. Lauren Park Lane keeps the hot three-point shooting going for the Hall with that left wing triple. Now 8 for 11 from 3. Here's Elger now. Scoreless thus far. 10 on the shot clock. Agnew, they need to get her going. Can't finish this time, and a foul by Creighton going for the rebound. It's on Sarda, and that's her second.
Creighton is going to need to get some easier looks right now. John, I know they like to shoot the 3, but I'd like to see them get a little bit more aggressive, get Agnew going off of some drives to the rim, just anything easy right now when you're in this big of a hole.
The Blue Jays, Agnew now 0 for 7 from 3, and they hit 8.6 a game. That's 20th nationally. Elmore. Alesh has really given the Pirates a boost.
Absolutely. She's come in, give big minutes. She's knocked down shots. She's gotten rebounds. A nice reserve for Tony Bazella.
Smith, travel. Now you think about this Creighton team, and they're in the top 20 nationally in numerous categories. 8.6 threes a game. They're 19th in the nation with 137 threes on the year. And they do hoist many three-pointers, 12th in the country with 422. But like you just said, if you're 0 for 7 from 3, you've got to change something.
And clearly, to start this game, they were outmatched energy-wise. Seton Hall brought it, Creighton did not. You could say it's an early start. It's 10 a.m. Central Time on their body clocks, but I know Coach Flannery won't use that as an excuse, but they need to get some easier looks.
Pryor can't hit. Now it's 0 for 8. And when you compare that to Seton Hall, who's 8 for 12, it explains our 35-16 score. The Hall, 3-3 in the Big East. Only 2 home games thus far, though. And that's why Tony Bozzella believes there's still room for them to get better and make a run. 5 on the shot clock. Samuels back to Smith. Park Lane for 3. Oh! That's the 9th triple. In the hour of the day where the Price is Right is on CBS, Seton Hall is playing Plinko.
They are dialed in from everywhere behind the arc, really from all players, John. Everyone's knocking them down.
Lewis, are you kidding? That's long, but that would have been number 10, and Pryor stepped in. And now Pryor finishes.
John, Seton Hall has 9 3-pointers to Creighton's 7 field goals for the game. Seton Hall has more threes than Creighton has field goals.
Kim Adams, that's an Adams advanced statistic.
That's why I took problems with mathematics in college. I said, who needs calculus? I'm going to take word problems.
Word problems. Those are like that's when you get the long explanation of like Jenny went to the store and purchased 7 loaves of bread, right?
I'm pretty sure that's the only final in college I ever got a perfect score on. Problems about math. Great class at Penn.
Lewis picked
Highly
it up.
recommend.
I love it. I took 1 math class here at Seton Hall, and it's a good thing I only had to take 1 to get the degree. Funes beat me off this time. A 20-point game. And a giveaway right into the band.
Right now, Coach Flannery is a little confused. The team is confused. This is not the same Blue Jays team we've seen in their first 5 games of Big East play, where their only loss was a 3-point deficit to number 14 DePaul.
The Blue Jays checking in at number 15 in the national RPI. Samuels with the give, Femi Funes with the finish. That one short. Agnew with the rebound. She was fouled, and she'll go to the line. Samuels with her second. Well, we're talking about some of these ridiculous numbers in this game thus far. Folks, this is staggering. Seton Hall has 14 assists on 14 field goals.
Assist to Bobby Mullen, digging that one up. But that's absolutely incredible, especially when you look at their last 4 games. They went 1 and 3, only averaging 11 assists per game. And they have already outdone that through a quarter and a half here at Walsh Gymnasium. 14 assists on 14 field goals, 9 made 3-pointers. This is an offensive explosion for the Pirates, who have had some mighty offensive struggles as of late.
Jays come up with a turnover this time. 5th Pirate giveaway. This Creighton team coming into today with a 1.4 assist to turnover ratio, as Tony Bozzella, when Lewis got to it, called a timeout. We will take 1, 2. Well, Creighton came in with just 1 loss in the Big East to the top team in the conference, DePaul. Thus far today, though, it's been the Pirate Show at Walsh Gym. Seton Hall up by 20 on the BEDN.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
When you talk to the coaches around the Big East, they say this conference is wide open beyond the reigning champs DePaul, and that wide openness is going to be seen March 6th to the 9th. The Big East Women's Basketball Tournament returning to Wintrust Arena for a third straight year, and you can get your tickets packages starting at $50. You've got courtside seating also available, and all session ticket packages, they include all 5 sessions of the Big East Tournament. It's March 6th to the 9th. It's in Chicago, partner.
Always a good time. We've been out there the last 2 years over at Wintrust. Hopefully we'll be back for a third.
Let's take a look at the three-point party that is broken out here for Seton Hall. What are you seeing?
Seton Hall, 9 of 14 from 3. Every single one of those has been assisted. You see the inside-out movement. Creighton early on was doubling down on the posts. They kicked out, and since then they've been playing confident. Nice kick opposite from Samuels to Elmore. 6 different Pirates have hit from 3, John. 9 of 14 compared to Creighton, one of the nation's leading three-point shooting team, who is 0 of 9 from behind the arc to start.
And it bears noting, this is a Seton Hall team that averages 70 points per game. But Kim, you know it, having been recruited by Coach Pizzell a little bit, as Elmore scores it, he is an up-tempo, offensively oriented coach.
Absolutely, and I think they have an advantage in this game because Creighton, especially without Rembow, doesn't have too deep of a rotation, and they prefer to play at a little bit of a slower pace. So I think the Pirates need to just stay aggressive, keep getting it out off of makes and misses, and put some pressure on the defense.
Agnew. Jalen Agnew, 3 for 8 from the field. And in the Tony Bozzella era, Seton Hall has had rich success here inside Walsh. 79 and 28 as Elger comes up with the steal.
Right now, look at this offense, Sean. They look a little out of sorts. They're looking to who's going to make that move.
Pull up for Sarda is off, and the Jays continue the drought from beyond the arc, now 0 for 10.
And we mentioned it, John. When you're 0 of 10 from 3, I would put a red light on the threes for right now, unless it is off of some great playmaking, drive and kick towards the end of the shot clock. I'd be getting to the rim. I'd be getting fouled. Just seeing the ball go through the net right now.
Lewis off the cut. Tony Bozzella called Lewis the best shooter he's ever recruited, and today she's 5 for 8 with 12.
She has answered the call. She was removed from the starting lineup the last few games, but today she looks relaxed, she looks confident, and her ability to shoot the ball well instantly elevates the offensive level of this team.
It'll stay with Creighton after Dvorak was trying to find Sarda. Peyton Brodsky with 4 points checks back in for Creighton. So you've got a 24-point deficit. How do you approach this as a player?
Well, first you have to start getting stops, because right now their confidence is low because they can't get a stop. You have to close out on shooters, you have to communicate on switches, limit them to one shot, and then start getting some easier looks on the other end.
It will go back to the Hall. A Creighton team that has been one of the best, not only in the Big East, but in the country in assist-to-turnover ratio at 1.4. That's top 10. They have 8 turnovers to just 1 assist.
This is a different Blue Jays team than we're used to seeing. Keep in mind, John, Jalen Agnew right now playing with 2 fouls. So Seton Hall may want to look to take it at her and draw that third.
Lewis flies in for the offensive board. Can't hit the putback. And the call says Blue Jays basketball here with less than 3 to go in this second quarter. We came in telling you Creighton's controlled this series. They've won 6 of the last 7 meetings. They've won 9 of the 13 since these two began meeting in 2013. And the Blue Jays are 12-4, looking in line for an NCAA tournament spot. But today, the Hall has answered the bell.
I would look to get Agnew involved in some screen and roll action here. Another deep 3, now 0 of 11 for the Jays.
Nobody could have scripted that. Now Elger with the takeaway. A senior averaging nearly 10 points per game. You said they got to get Agnew going, and she'll head to the free throw line.
And that's what I'd like to see her do. She's taken 3 from behind the arc, but I'd like to see her get that real scorer's mentality, know her team needs her production right now, and just continue to attack, attack, attack.
We asked Jim Flannery, Creighton head coach, did you see this coming from Jalen? He said, I thought she had it in her to have a strong season, but even I could not have predicted this type of year.
When you look at the numbers, John, we already mentioned she could be the conference's most valuable player based on the numbers she's putting up so far, but she could very well also be the most improved player. Last year, 12 points per game. This year, she's averaging close to 24 points per game in conference play. Almost doubled her output from last season.
She gave us a foreshadowing last year in the Big East tournament against DePaul. In that game, had 27 points, as Lewis is absolutely en fuego. 14 points, 6 of 10 from the field.
And she's been scoring from everywhere, John. She started out really hitting from 3. They've adjusted the coverage on her, and now she's been able to find some gaps in the defense, to pull up, to get some offensive boards. She's locked in offensively.
Brodsky travels. The 9th Creighton turnover.
Seton Hall defense is just stifling them right now. They're cutting off driving lanes. They're sending help on drivers and really catching the Blue Jays guards off guard.
You know, I know my partner, known her long enough, that she nods really aggressively when she approves of something on the court.
Do I really?
And yes, every time, as Hofschild's called here, it'll go back to the Blue Jays, you do. And every time Alexis Lewis has caught it in the post, you have really liked the idea of the guard post-up.
I like it. Taller guards, 5'9", 5'10", that's something I used to do. The ability to post up when you have a 5'6", 5'7" guard, but Seton Hall's also done a great job of reading what the defense is throwing at them and kicking out, and that's why they have 15 assists on 17 field goals.
The Blue Jays, as that is the team's 5th foul, this one on Hofschild. And so here's Olivia Elger to the free throw line. A 74% shooter at the charity stripe. And there is a great feature from Matt DeMarinis of White and Blue Review. He does yeoman's work out in Omaha with the job that he does to cover the Blue Jays. And he talked about Olivia throughout her career, even back to high school, had knee injuries, concussions. And in practice, she gets more reps on the stationary bike than she does on the court. Yet Olivia Elger puts it all on the line.
She personifies perseverance, dedication. At some point in someone's career, a lot of people would have thrown in the towel by now. You know what? It's just not working out for me. These lingering injuries, but when she's out on the court, she's giving 100% on every single possession, and that's something that you can't really teach as a coach.
Samuels, speed kills.
And again, Alexis Lewis with the patience, with the fine. Samuels, a nice curl screen on the backside, and 100% on that cut, cutting to score.
Elger with the kick, Sarda an extra pass, and there it is, the first 3 for Creighton as Brodsky delivers, breaking up an 0 for 11 spell.
has to feel good. As we said, this Creighton team makes more than 8 3-pointers per game.
And there's Elger making the extra play. Senior up ahead. Oh, everything but the end result for Bachelor. Sarda gets it back. Brodsky from the elbow. Jim Flannery told us that this Seton Hall St. John's road weekend swing is as tough as it gets in the Big East, and he said what concerned him the most was the speed. Well, Seton Hall came out guns a-blazing, and they have lapped Creighton in this first half. Johnson with 3, Lewis with the rebound, and that'll do it for the opening 20 minutes. A statement made by the Seton Hall Pirates, who are up 21.
Seton Hall came in with some offensive struggles in their last few games. That has certainly been erased. The Pirates knocking down 9 threes, shooting 58% from the floor, and really sharing the ball. John, 16 assists on 18 field goals. What an offensive explosion for this Seton Hall team.
The Pirates came out, shot 6 for their first 6 from 3. Alexis Lewis with 14 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. We are at the half on the Big East Digital Network. Much more to come from South Orange.
You are watching Blue Jay Basketball on Big East Digital Network.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Seton Hall up 48-27 on Creighton at the half. Big East Fast Break is the weekly women's basketball show hosted by Megan Caffrey and Ashley Liotis, breaking down everything in Big East women's hoops. You can catch all new episodes of Fast Break during the season every Wednesday at 3:30 on the Big East Twitter and YouTube pages. On this week's episode, Megan was joined by the reigning Big East Player of the Week, Marquette's Selena Lott.
The Marquette Golden Eagles are 3-2 in Big East play, coming off of a 2-0 weekend beating St. John's and Seton Hall, as I'm now joined by the Big East Player of the Week, Selena Lott. Selena, your team lost your first 2 conference games. However, you've now won 3 straight Big East games. Head coach Megan Duffy said your execution has been different throughout these. What has been the difference in your execution?
Honestly, it's just determination, and we all have to stay humble. Like our teammates, it's like a player-led team, so our coaches try to stay out of it as much, and then we just had to get in extra work just to be better.
You had a career high 34 points in your win over St. John's. Offensively, how were you able to have so much production?
Honestly, I don't even see it as much as my coaches do. So my coaches like give me highlights of like when I can attack, or like whenever I come off on the bench. My coach, Skeet, will tell me and be like, this is what you have. Like, you have your little pull-up game, you have the 3, you can drive. So I just take her advice whenever.
Head coach Megan Duffy also mentioned the fact that this season a lot of teammates have been stepping up. When you look to your game against Seton Hall on Sunday, Lauren Van Kloon didn't have as much of an offensive game as she usually does. And then you have freshman Cameron Taylor stepping up with her first career double-double. How much is that a testament to what this team is about this season?
Yeah, I feel like that's the beauty of our team. Like, we all can do different parts and we all have our talents, but it's just when one's down, one has to step up. So everybody knows their role and just attack it.
Selena, just saying it right there, everyone knows their role. What is your role on the team this season?
I would just say be more of a vocal leader and like trying to tell people like what positions to be in on defense. And then everybody kind of has the same role. We all tell each other what to do. We just have to take that into consideration.
You're one of the upperclassmen this year, and you also come back with a lot of experience. You started on last year's team amongst all of that high-powered talent. How has that experience helped you into this year with the leadership that you have on the court?
It definitely has helped because like I knew like how other teams played and what we had to like look forward to, like scouting wise. But everybody was ready.
Who is the funniest on the team?
Funniest on the team? Probably Altia.
Ooh. Why is she so funny?
She's interesting. She's different. She's so different. She loves to fish. She loves country music, but like at the same time, like, I don't know, she'll just always make a side comment that will make you laugh in the wrong times.
So if she loves country music, at practice, at a home game, on your playlist, is there at least one country song that we can expect to be on that playlist?
Probably not on my playlist, but definitely on hers.
What's your playlist like? What kind of music we have in that?
I listen more of like hip hop and R&B.
Favorite pregame song?
Probably "Whoa" right now by Lil Baby.
Can you sing it for us a little bit? I'm putting you on the spot.
I can't. I don't know all the lyrics.
Fair. That is very, very fair. Selena, thank you so much for joining me. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices ready to start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go, Sean. 1, 2, 3.
Together! This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East Way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Seton Hall up 48-27 on Creighton. That's right, 48-27 on the second place team in the Big East. And the Blue Jays in this 21-point hole after Seton Hall shot 9 for 14 from 3 in the opening half, Kim Adams.
You can't get much hotter than the Pirates did in that first half. Apparently they are morning people with this 11 a.m. tip. They started a perfect 6 for 6 from deep. 6 different Pirates have hit from 3. Alexis Lewis, you see her there, has really caught fire after some scoring woes as of late. She has 14, also 3 assists. Assists have been a huge reason why they are where they are right now. 16 assists in the first 20 minutes of this game, John. You can't ask for much more execution than Seton Hall had in the first 20 minutes.
And we know that Seton Hall can certainly score the basketball as well as anybody in this league, but what is surprising is to see Creighton 8 for 28, and even more surprising, a team that has a 1.4 assist-to-turnover ratio with 2 assists, and what you don't see there, 9 turnovers for the Blue Jays. Such an uncharacteristic half.
It's really the exact opposite as we're seeing from Seton Hall, who has high assist rate and high three-point rate right now. Creighton makes 8.6 threes per game, so to see that 1 of 12 number there is quite staggering. So the message to them, I would say they have to start attacking more, and I would, when the threes are there, take them, but make sure it's a really good look off of penetration, a late closeout approaching, late in the shot clock. But first of all, John, they've got to generate some stops defensively if they have any hopes of climbing out of this deep hole.
To your point, Creighton allows 60 points per game. They just gave up 48 in the half to Seton Hall. So the Pirates up by 21. What a start for the Hall here on Kids Day. We've got more to come on the Big East Digital Network presented by SoFi.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Back here at Walsh Gym, Seton Hall 48, Creighton 27 at the break. Big East Conference men's and women's basketball teams, in recognition of the incomparable impact that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. made in his quest for national unity and social justice, are wearing shooting shirts before their games this weekend that read, "We cannot walk alone." Hear now from student athletes on the impact Dr. King has made on their lives.
The Big East Conference and member schools
champion excellence
by embracing respect and diversity
while striving for a culture of inclusion and equity.
Be inclusive.
Be inclusive.
Dr. Martin Luther King had a huge impact on me. He just made me believe no matter what you do, anything is possible.
I think the legacy that he put in place means a lot to me because I always think about where we came from as people of color, as athletes of color, and I just try to make sure that whatever I'm doing now in the present is going to set up those for the future.
Being in the Big East is so diverse. Being at DePaul University is so diverse. So to come along and to share our talents is one of the messages that Martin Luther King shared with us, that we can all come together and be as one.
His willingness to sacrifice himself and, fight for others, that goes a long way for the future and anybody who wants to stand up for change and equality.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
Just moments away from the second half here in South Orange. Seton Hall up 21 on Creighton, a Blue Jays program that came in with an RPI of 15. You see the ladies here waving down to their favorite players on Kids Day at Walsh Gym. Really special to see hundreds and hundreds of local Jersey school kids here today spending their day at Walsh.
You gotta love it. They were a little quiet to start. We tried to get some of them in our promo videos, and they were quiet, but they've lightened up a little bit.
Let's rejoin the third member of our team, Ashley Lyotis. We're having technical difficulties with Ashley, so we will try to get back to her at some point. Apologize for that. As here we go with the third quarter. Kim, if you were Jim Flannery in your halftime locker room, what would you have said?
First thing you need to address is their energy. They came out flat, they came out with no energy, so that has to be the first thing that turns a corner, and it has to start on the defensive end. Already we're seeing hands up, we're seeing more talking, it looks like, defensively.
Samuels on the back down with the left hand.
John, that's easy. That's way too easy. She could score around there. You can't let her just catch the ball. I would deny the pass in, and you have to send some more aggressive help because she basically just walked to the other side of the lane for that easy layup.
9 points, 4 assists for Samuels as Elger answers her first field goal of the day. And the Pirates, it will stay with them here. Creighton guarded that backdoor cut.
They did. There was more communication. Both people knew who they were switching onto.
Ten on the shot clock. Elmore back to Park Lane. The freshman with 9 points in the first half. It's off to Johnson with one. That three long, and rebound by Agnew. A foul on Samuels. That's her third.
And that is a silly one, John, especially to be your third. I know she didn't intend to make contact, but you just have to be careful in a situation like that. Let Agnew get the rebound and get back on defense.
The Creighton Blue Jays have had a number of comeback wins this year. This is as big of a hole as they have had dug for them. What's the response? Batchelor defended well, and Elmore comes out with the board, her fifth.
Seton Hall doing a good job on Jalen Agnew, who's averaging about 24 points per game in conference play. They have Samuels on her, they have Elmore switching to her, so some of her teammates are going to have to step up as she's drawing some double teams and some heavy coverage.
Elmore hits it up to 9 points for the junior.
Pirates continuing to get scoring from everyone as finally Jalen Agnew gets a three to drop. Her first three of the early morning or early afternoon now, maybe, John.
Just 5 away from entering the top 15 in Creighton program history in scoring. Elmore on an island. Desiree Elmore is feeling it, up to 11.
The Jays, they cannot guard the Seton Hall interior right now. Samuels has gone at them, now Elmore has gone at them, and it's been just basic moves, a basic back down, turn, and finish.
Extra chance for the Blue Jays here. Now a baseline drive and score for Temi Sarda, her first points of the day.
And we didn't see that from her in the first half, John. We did not see her attack the rim. And that time a little bit more aggressive than we saw her in the first 20 minutes.
Alexis Lewis on fire all day long. 16 points.
Alexis Lewis reading that defensive read perfectly. She curled around the screen. Her defender was trailing her the entire time and curled around and had an open look.
Here's Saunders. Just short. But Elger gets it back. Now Saunders with more space and hits that one. Jim Flannery calls a timeout. Seton Hall up by 20 as the Jays try to cut into this deficit on the Big East Digital Network.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
Seton Hall up by 20 on Creighton. Let's send it over to Ashley Lyotis. We're having technical difficulties with Ashley, so,
On the other side over there with Creighton, Coach Flannery's had not a ton of good on that side. He really wants to see them fight harder. He's talked so much to us over the last few days about their will to win. He says he thinks they still have it, but they need to come within 10 to 12 points at the end of this third quarter to really have a fighting shot. He also said they really need to improve their communication. Guys.
Thanks very much, Ashley. Peyton Brodsky has been a bright spot for Creighton, up to 10 points with her second three. Came in today only averaging 3 a game. Ten on the shot clock. Lewis. The post-up has worked all day.
Post-up has worked for everyone, John. Samuels, Lewis, Elmore. It's just a clear mismatch down there. Creighton right now doesn't have the strength to guard down there. I think they need to make it harder to get the ball inside.
Saunders for 3.
And John, Creighton has come out hitting better in this third quarter, but they haven't been able to stop Seton Hall. You can't go bucket for bucket when you're down 18.
The Blue Jays 3 for their first 4 from 3. That's a tough 2. Elmore short. And a foul on Samuels, and now that is her 4th foul. We've got a timeout. Seton Hall up 18. Creighton starting to creep back in here as the Blue Jays are looking for some real magic here in South Orange. Back after this.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
What can great minds do?
While at Seton Hall, I interned with the Superior Court of New Jersey, and that inspired me to go to law school.
I am a physics and civil engineering major, and I want to work on infrastructure in underdeveloped countries.
I'm the news director at one of the top college radio stations in the country.
I'm working with my professor on research that could help athletes during sudden cardiac events.
I started my own business, Classic Soccer Cleats, and I just sold it to a company in England.
Come see for yourself what great minds can do.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah!
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Welcome back to Walsh Gymnasium. Kim Adams, John Fanta here with you. Ashley Leotis joining us on the sidelines. And so far, it's the same thing we saw at 11 a.m. this morning. I don't know what Seton Hall had in their pancakes this morning, John, but I would stick with that pregame meal.
Yeah.
They are up 18 here about midway through the third quarter.
The Blue Jays have shot the ball well thus far in quarter number 3. 6 for 9, 3 for 4 from deep. Here's a 3 from Brodsky. Just rattles out. You were talking about the Seton Hall offense early in this game and how they came out firing from 3, and they fell in love a little bit. What do you think of the adjustment they've made to enter it inside?
Well, what impresses me most, John, is they haven't settled. They've adjusted to defensive changes, and they've kept the foot on the gas. I've seen them in games where they're great for 20 minutes, and then they come out flat. So far, it's been a concerted effort for the entire game as we see some off-ball activity there. Desiree Elmore going to get whistled for a foul.
Elmore just her first. Still a lot of basketball left though, Kim Adams.
And we've talked about Creighton's ability to come back. They've come back from double-digit games 4 times this season to win. So that's why it's important for Seton Hall to continue this consistency, not get lazy with the ball. continue working through their offense.
In 8 of the Jays' 12 wins this year, they've come back from a 7-point deficit. And as Kim said, 4 times with double digits. Park Lane finishing off the window. That was pretty.
And that's another impressive thing, John. Everyone has scored today for this Pirates team, and they've been tough to defend because of that. Creighton has tried doubling the post, and guards have hit from 3. They've gotten tighter on the threes, and the posts have been one-on-one matchups and scored easily. So this is a tough team to guard when everyone's hitting.
And a traveling violation on Brodsky. The 10th Creighton turnover. Creighton has shot the ball much better in this third quarter, but they only lead Seton Hall in the third 15-14.
They've shot it much better, but unfortunately for them, Seton Hall has not cooled off from how they got started in the first half.
Alesh, who had a personal 6-0 run to finish the first quarter. Offensive foul called on Elmore. And so Des Elmore with her second. Something for Tony Bozzella to monitor because Samuels does have 4.
Well, what's great for him right now, John, is they don't mind having Shadeen Samuels on the bench because they're getting offensive production from so many different players, and they've built such a big lead that it's no sweat off of his back to have arguably his best player sitting on the bench for extended minutes.
An 11th turnover for the Jays. Kim, you just had this Creighton team last Saturday. How shocked are you at what they're doing right now?
It's surprising. I think they were caught off guard, A, by the defensive pressure of Seton Hall, and B, by how well Seton Hall came out shooting the ball after they had been struggling to shoot from 3. And I don't think they've reacted very well.
Alesh just off. Agnew, 13 points. Now here's Saunders back to Sarda, who's been quiet with 2. Saunders for 3. Ring it up. Rachel Saunders with her second trifecta now has 8 points.
And that was a better look from 3 from Creighton because they skipped the ball across the lane and the closeout was late. So that's the type of 3 that this team is accustomed to. Off of ball movement, off of making the extra pass, unlike many of the 3s we saw in the first half where they just settled.
Johnson is fouled. Just the first team foul, though, on Creighton of this quarter. So they've got 3 more to give. Parham and Pryor, the 2 Blue Jay newcomers coming back in. Park Lane, the inbounder for the Hall. And she'll reset.
John, something we haven't mentioned, even more impressive about this Seton Hall effort so far is they're doing it without 2 of their starters. Yes, Lewis and Elmore have started plenty of games, but 2 of their main rotation players are out with injury or illness today.
That sums up the day for the Hall. Johnson getting the friendly bounce.
And Johnson, she's really been the quietest out on the floor. That's her 7th point of the day, but she had been averaging 20 points per game in the last 2.
The Jays can hold it for the final shot of this third quarter. Listen to the kids.
Kids have awoken with the Seton Hall offense.
We got a collision on the screen. Elmore got tangled up with Parham, and now that's Elmore's 3rd foul in as many minutes, and it will cause Creighton to shoot 2 shots.
That was a physical play, John, just trying to fight through a screen, but her 2 before that were offensive fouls, 1 just running down the court, 1 on an offensive rebound. That's just where you have to be a little bit smarter, because if this weren't a 20-point game, if this is a game within a possession or two, fighting for standings, you need her on the floor.
So Jalen Agnew at the line. We asked Jim Flannery yesterday, what's something nobody may know about her? She was a 4-time champion in the high jump and also earned the conference MVP honor in volleyball during her junior season of high school at Andover. A great volleyball player and track athlete. Pirates with 5, and a smart foul by Pryor there because the Jays have 3 to use. .3 to go. Park Lane. Pryor with another foul. We still have 1 left to give. So they'll inbound here again. Now Johnson with 2. Johnson with 1. She's going to run out of time. The Jays outscored Seton Hall 20-16 in the third quarter, but the Pirates are still up by 17. The final 10 minutes are on the other side on the Big East Digital Network.
You're watching Creighton basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
Fourth quarter here at Walsh Gym, and it's a great time to remind you of the Big East Women's Basketball Tournament. March 6th to the 9th at Wintrust Arena. Tickets start at just $50 for all session packages. As the kids scream, they're excited for some Big East Women's Basketball Tournament action. And the tournament coming back to Chicago. DePaul, they've won 4 of the 6 since 2013, looking for a 5th on the last 7, and the Blue Demons at the top of the Big East. So get your tickets now. Coverage of the first round will be on the Big East Digital Network, FS2 for the quarters, and then FS1 for the semis and the championship game. The tournament this year, Kim, moved up a day. It'll be Friday to Monday, March 6th to the 9th.
I like that. A little more action on the weekends. A nice 4-day swing out in Chicago. See the sights. Get some deep dish pizza,
Sure.
which is not pizza, in my opinion.
It's not pizza. Deep dish pizza is not pizza?
Deep dish pizza is lasagna.
It's lasagna.
I stand by that take.
So a 17-point Hall lead here in the fourth. John Fanta, Kim Adams, Ashley Lyotis. With you from South Orange as Agnew hoists and hits the triple.
14 points now, John. We know this team has shown the ability and fight to come back many times this season, but they have to start stringing together a couple stops. They need good communication on defense as to where they're doubling and where they're helping.
Elmore down the lane. Agnew with the defense. Creighton was down 24 at one point. Agnew with the basketball. She's got 18 points and 6 rebounds. Now it's Parham off to Dworak. 10 on the timer. Agnew pulls and had it altered. It'll stay with the Jays with 2 seconds left. All right, what are you thinking here, Kim?
You have to get something for Agnew, maybe right in the middle of that paint or right for a layup. So you need a solid screen. or maybe set up to her for a corner jumper. Seton Hall needs to communicate. Who's ever player screening for her, I would chase her out.
It's Agnew. Just off. Rebound, though, for Elger. And the officials now pause things here. Talking with the table crew. And the shot clock needed to be set to 18. Rachel Saunders coming back, and she's really been the Robin in the second half for Agnew. 8 points as Agnew's got it now, and Agnew rejected by Alesh. A denial. And Park Lane, it's a blocking foul called on Elger.
And how about that defense from Alesh, John? That ISO has been Creighton's bread and butter with Agnew all season long. Agnew was able to get through the rim. Looked like she was setting up for a strong finish, and then Alesh across the paint. Fantastic job of blocking the ball while no contact whatsoever.
Alesh with it now. The sophomore has 6 points today. Creighton really active defensively as Johnson short.
And that wasn't a good look, John. They still had plenty of time on the shot clock. They were kind of bobbling the ball around.
Agnew for three, way off. But Sardo with the board.
Creighton with a couple offensive rebounds here. They want to convert, give themselves a chance to cut into this lead.
In this half, Creighton out rebounding Seton Hall 11-4. Agnew off again, and it'll go back to the Pirates. Agnew forcing it a little bit.
I think sometimes she starts to settle a little bit for those early shot clock threes. I like it better when they have her involved in some ball screen action, maybe a pick and pop, or lately she's had some success getting to the rim.
Seton Hall started 6 for 6 from three. They led 19-2. And off that hot start, they haven't really let up. Samuels playing with 4 fouls. Can't hit it. And a foul on the rebound. Alesh jumping in.
Creighton needs to start taking advantage. They've had some offensive rebounds. They've had a couple stops now, but they're 0 of their last 5. They need to start getting some better offense and taking advantage of the stops, scoring on the other end. They could be right here in this game with a couple buckets.
It'll go back to Seton Hall. That one called off Sarda. Brian Enterline Sr. with the whistle. Well, this Creighton team has been different since that first half. And you think about it, this game started 10 a.m. Central Time. Samuels on the back down. Everything but the finish. And then got it back and muscled it up.
That's a tough one, John. That could have been very close to an offensive foul, which would have been her 5th. No call. Samuels goes back up and gets it, but Creighton bench not too happy with that one.
And a traveling call on Elger. That is the 13th Creighton turnover.
And John, a lot of these turnovers have been unforced, just simple travels like that, throwing the ball away. They haven't been a result, many of them, of the Seton Hall defense, which is very frustrating as a coach, especially when you're a team that only averages 10 turnovers a game.
We're through 3.5 minutes in this fourth quarter. There's that saying, don't sit on the lead, but Creighton 3, Seton Hall 2 in the fourth. The Pirates seem content on the pace as Park Lane is fouled by Sarda. Her 3rd. And that was a big key for Tony Bozzella. He said, we've got to hold Jalen Agnew and Temi Sarda under 30 points combined. In this game, just 20.
And Agnew has 18, but it's been a tough 18. She's had to work for everything. She's 5 of 15 from the field, 2 of 7 from 3. I think they've frustrated her at times.
I would start thinking big picture with you and ask you who you think the second best team in the Big East is, but that question is more than loaded. Kim.
I might need a 20-minute segment for that one, John. So much to consider. St. John's nearly beating DePaul on their home floor last weekend, but they are currently a tie for 6th with Seton Hall, who is on pace to take down the second team in the Big East standings.
Saunders long on the 3. 2 other candidates on FS2 tonight, 6:30 Eastern time, when Marquette takes on Butler. Alesh, and what a dish from Elmore.
John Fanta on his feet for that one. Little finesse with the hands there, John. Elmore, she has a ton of assists in this game. That was her 6th assist. So impressed by how she has the will to score, but also the ability to pull back and realize when it's her time to kick it out.
Brodsky with her 3rd 3. She's got 13.
She's provided a much-needed lift for this Jays offense. She hadn't been scoring much of late, just 3 points in the last 6 games. She has found her shot again.
That's needed for the Jays, still without Tatum Rembow. They haven't been healthy all season long as Elmore travels this time. And it'll go back to Creighton. A 15-point game as we hit a timeout here at Walsh Gymnasium. Stay with us here on the Big East Digital Network.
You're watching Creighton basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena.
My parents never taught me anything about managing money.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
We just decided we didn't want debt any longer.
I didn't realize how easy investing could be. I'm picking companies that I believe in.
I think SoFi Money is amazing.
Thank you, SoFi.
SoFi, thank you. We love you.
Stand up stronger. I got the power, gonna raise it up. So high, we're shining brighter. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We got the power, gonna raise it up. We're running ahead, and we got to raise it up.
Down the stretch we come at Walsh Gym. Seton Hall 68, Creighton 53. As we take a look at the Blue Jays' upcoming schedule, they are at St. John's on Sunday on the Big East Digital Network, then back home for Xavier and Butler before one that you've got on your calendar.
At DePaul. Looking for that rematch. And for Seton Hall, they will welcome Providence, still searching for their first Big East Conference win. And then St. John's, I'll be here for that one next Sunday, the all-access game on FS1. We'll have both coaches, Joe Tartamella and Tony Bozzella, mic'd up, and I know that's going to be an interesting one. Both those coaches very animated and don't hold a lot back, John.
A foul on Saunders as Lewis went for it. I can't wait to watch the all-access with UNLV, Lisa Byington, FS1 next Sunday, 6:30 Eastern time. it follows Xavier and Creighton also on All Access, so you get 4 hours of coaches uninterrupted on FS1.
That is premium content. Fox Sports, always at the forefront of innovation when it comes to broadcasting.
And before that on FS2, it's Xavier at Providence.
You're on that one.
With
You
Pam
and
Roker.
Pam. What a day. Get your food, lay up on the couch.
Johnson.
Nice weighted blanket, maybe.
Really? Elmore comes up with it. Johnson all the way.
The balanced scoring, John. The balanced attack here. 4 Seton Hall players in double figures. Johnson has 9. Olish has 8. Closing in on 6 players in double figures.
Rachel Saunders with 3 trifectas, up to 11 points.
And her improvement has been a little overshadowed by the score today, John, but Rachel Saunders, someone who's really made a jump from her freshman year.
Elmore fouled by Agnew. That's her 3rd. They actually call it on Sarda. It is her 4th foul. And so Jim Flannery's going to go to his bench and bring Elger in for Pryor as the Jays try to make a last attempt at this.
And it's been an off night for Temi Sarda, John. In Big East play, she'd been averaging 17 points per game. Well, the Pirates just about locked her up today. Just 2 points on 1 of 4 shooting. She does have 5 rebounds and 3 assists, but they've really counted on her shooting to get those first 4 Big East Conference wins.
Elmore, a 74% free throw shooter, hitting the first. What a day for the junior. 12 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists.
It's been a team basketball today, John. Everyone's sharing the ball. Everyone is excited to make that extra pass and see their teammates score. And this Seton Hall team is so dangerous when they play for 40 minutes like we've seen them today.
Sarda for 3, her first trifecta of the day. While Sarda's been frustrated offensively, that's what they would like to see from her and have seen from her most of the year as Elmore is fouled. Seton Hall today has just frustrated her defensively, holding Sarda to just 2 of 5 from the field.
Seton Hall has the potential to be a great defensive team anytime they step out to the floor. It's about whether all 5 players are mentally choosing to lock into that mentality. And today they have, John. They've locked in on both ends. This is as complete of a performance as I've seen them put together. I was here when they played UConn and gave them a great run and was surprised by some of their recent losses. So it's a matter of which Seton Hall team is showing up. If it's this one, they could be a top 2, top 3 team in the conference.
How about Johnson on Agnew right now, all the way up the floor?
Face guarding her, and that's the type of lock-in that they've had. Johnson that time whistled for a little bit of a hold. Can't really have contact through the lane on the officials emphasizing freedom of movement.
Agnew needs just a bucket to enter the top 15 in Creighton all-time scoring, and there it is. Jalen Agnew now in the top 15 in Creighton history in scoring, with 1,345 points.
What a senior year she is putting together, John. Last year, a bit riddled by a hand injury, a thumb injury to her shooting hand, which made her a little inconsistent. But this season, she is putting together a great campaign for Big East Player of the Year candidate. Shooting well from behind the arc. She has 20 today, although it seems like everything has been difficult for her. Credit to the Pirates defense, but Jalen Agnew doing a little bit of everything, leading the team in scoring, rebounding, assists, and minutes. There's not many minutes in a game where she is on the bench, John. 38.4 minutes per game she averages.
Agnew with another 20-point performance. Second in the Big East in scoring behind Maddie Siegrist. of Villanova. Now Johnson trying to break through this pressure and stuck. And a timeout all the way from the other end of the floor.
And Johnson on that one, right when you catch it, throw it right back. The double team was running at her, just throw it right back to the inbounder instead of dribbling into the corner right where Creighton wants to trap you.
Tony Bozzella, 2:57 away from what he hopes is his 125th win at Seton Hall. Taking a look at the Sunday schedule around the conference, this Seton Hall team, they're back home to Providence. And you can catch all the action on the Big East Digital Network. DePaul at Butler. Really interesting weekend for the Bulldogs, who swept on the road last weekend and are at home tonight to Marquette, then DePaul. Opportunity knocks for Kirk Godlewski on FS2 this evening with our friends Matt Schumacher and Monica McNutt on the call. Oh, Pryor with a steal, but she threw it away. Elmore. Samuels tipped that back up, but couldn't hit. Here comes Pryor. Oh, silky move, and Dee has some swagger.
Woo, Dee with the Euro. That was smooth indeed. Splitting that defense perfectly. The freshman showing some French pastry on this Saturday. Wait, no, it's only Friday morning. I'm getting ahead of myself here.
Did you just say that Dee Pryor showed us a pastry?
French pastry. Like
French pastry.
She had a little extra something on that. That was a nice move. Euro step, French pastry, Friday morning hoops.
Yeah.
Follow me here, John.
They brought us munchkins to the table, but like half of them were filled with the strawberry as Park Lane hits the first free throw. I don't like the strawberry filling in my munchkins.
Well, when I dove in the bag, there was only one chocolate left, so I had assumed you had already seen that bag, but maybe there just wasn't much of an assortment.
It's the former. Park Lane hits both. She's up to 13. Seton Hall with 4 players with 13 or more points against a Creighton team that allows just 60 per game. Saunders dialing up the trifecta. 4th triple, 14 points. And Creighton within 10 here with 2 minutes and change.
Need a couple turnovers here. Force some turnovers.
A foul is called on Pryor. And Jim Flannery can't believe it.
He's biting his tongue right now. They had the ball handler right where they wanted her. You really just have to work on closing that trap. Both players need to have their feet together. If she tries to fight through it, then it'll be a foul, but they just allowed a little bit too much separation there.
Lauren Park Lane, the freshman, 63% free throw shooter, hits the first. Well, how about there? And that's why Lauren DeFalco called everybody over. She was not getting any help.
No, you have to come to the ball. You have to come help your teammate. You have to come meet a pass when there's pressure.
The Jays looking for a miracle in New Jersey. Down 12, Elger all the way, was stripped, went off of Park Lane's foot. They call a foul on Park Lane, actually.
That looked pretty clean to me, John.
A foul on Park Lane. And so that sends Elger to the free throw line. She hits the first. Kim, did you think that was in the act of shooting?
If they did call the foul, I think it was on a reach-in off of the drive.
Elger 2 for 2 here. Back to a 10-point game again. Now Park Lane, just a freshman.
She's been impressive. Her assist numbers rank amongst the league leaders for freshmen, more than 3 per game, and she's out there. She plays the most minutes of anyone on this team, John.
And she's fouled again, and we'll have a couple more free throws. To your point, Lauren averaging 29 minutes a game. That's a team high.
And I talked to Coach Bozzella earlier in the season about Lauren, and he said because of her background, she learned 2 different ways to play. On her high school team, she was the dominant scorer, so she has that scorer's mentality, but she was also on a very talented AAU team where she was really the pass-first point guard, so she knows how to get her teammates open and knows when to create opportunities. So we've seen both of those on display today as she has 15 points and 4 assists.
Creighton has not been within single digits in this game until very early moments of it. Since the early moments of it. Agnew turnaround. They're within 8. With 80 seconds left. Tension mounting. Samuels. Park Lane fresh off 0 for 2 from the free throw line. The Jays now fouled Johnson. And that's a big difference. From a 63% free throw shooter, you foul an 82% free throw shooter in Johnson.
And Coach Flannery is upset right now. I think he wanted his team to play that defensive possession out after waiting that long to foul. Shot clock was at about 16 seconds.
But Johnson misses the free throw. Well, you wonder what would have happened if Creighton did not get into a 19-2 hole in this game. It's now down to 9. They've got it after 1 for 2 from Johnson. Pryor, Sarda for 3 off the backboard. And Samuels bringing it up. The Pirates can finish this one out as Shadeen Samuels is fouled. That one on Agnew, her 4th. And now 4 Jays, Pryor, Sarda, Agnew, and Saunders with 4 fouls apiece. Dean Samuels to the free throw line. Hits the first. St. John's up by 10 on Providence in the 4th quarter. How about this? Kadasha Hoppy and Alicia Kaby both reaching 1,000 points in the game.
Wow, same game?
Same game.
Hoppy, just a junior, has been one of the top scorers in the conference this season.
Saunders for 3, way off, and that is just gonna do it. Seton Hall, what a start here. Tony Bozzella calling this a critical moment in their season, and Kim, they have answered the bell with 5 in double figures. All 5 starters rising to the occasion with Selena Faloxi and Maya Jackson both out.
A fantastic offensive performance for this group, John, as Shadeen Samuels looks to put a little more icing on that cake, but really from start to finish, they were impressive. Obviously, the story to start the game was their 3-point shooting, 6 of 6 in those opening minutes. But really, they've played together. They've played as a team. They've looked for each other. 20 assists today after single-digit assists against Marquette in their last game, 9 assists to 21 turnovers. Today, they flipped that. 20 assists to 12 turnovers.
Tony Bozzella's record at Walsh Gym, 79-28. This is a fitting way to get number 80.
82 points, 80 wins, knocking off the number 2 team in the conference. Wall-to-wall domination here.
Final seconds here from Walsh Gym. Seton Hall with a statement win over the Creighton Blue Jays. A top 15 RPI victory as the Pirates knock off Creighton 82-70.
Seton Hall brought the energy, John. Early tip-off, 11 a.m. Creighton came from Omaha 2 days ago, and they didn't come out to play. They fought their way back as they normally do in the 4th quarter, but in this one, it was a little too late.
The Hall started the game on a 19-2 run. What a performance by the Pirates, who take it by 12. After this, Ashley Liotis is with the Pirates.
You're watching Seton Hall basketball on the Big East Digital Network.
All right, we gotta be all in, all right? We gotta make sure we play with great passion. You have felt each other and helped each other and allowed yourselves to be helped with that, all right? We've got a great opportunity to do that today.
This is who we are.
When you look to your left and you see your sister over there, you help her. Because what we are one. Let's bring it.
1, 2, 3.
Together! That's the Big East way. The 2020 Big East Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
The amount of student loan debt I have, I'm embarrassed to even say.
I felt like I was going to spend my whole adult life paying this off.
Thanks to SoFi, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
As of 12 p.m. today, I am debt-free.
We have no debt, we don't owe anybody anything, and it's fantastic.
We're all in, all together. Great voices right at the start, great energy. We're getting excited about what we do, all right? You know how together you are. You know how hard you're gonna work, but you also know how good you are. Let's go show them. 1, 2, 3.
Together!
This is our time.
When we bring it together and we all locked in, we coming back in this locker room with a victory.
That's the Big East way. The 2020 Women's Basketball Tournament at Wintrust Arena. Get tickets now.
Hey guys, I'm joined by Coach Bozzella and Alexis Lewis. First of all, guys, congratulations on this big win now that you're back home in Walsh Gym. Alexis, first of all, I want to start with you. With Maya out today, of course, with that injury, we talked to Coach earlier. He said you needed to step up big. How do you feel you're able to do that, and how are you able to get into that mindset today?
I mean, I'm a senior. It's always my mindset to step up and be the best I can for my team. Maya's a great asset to our team. We know she's going to come back stronger than ever, but if one goes down, we just reload, and that's our mindset.
We knew this was going to be a very physical matchup against Creighton. It usually is. How do you guys think you handled that adversity today?
We handled it very well. You know, we came out ready to play with the right energy, with a consistent effort, and that carried through the entire game. Even when they tried to make a comeback, our consistent effort helped us get this win today.
And you had such an amazing first half. How were you able to put a lot to those? You got 14 points in the first half. How were you able to do that?
My teammates, you know, when we play how we're supposed to play, we find the people that are hot and we take the right shots.
Thanks, Alexis. Appreciate it. Congratulations. And Coach, now over to you. You guys were able to come off so hot to start that first half. 32-14 after the first half. What is the importance of starting off so fast like that?
I think after last weekend and where we struggled, you know, obviously losing 2 games, it was really important that we started off well. And I thought the girls prepared themselves really well this week in practice. And I think it showed.
And I know we talked earlier today about the passion that you needed this team to play with. Were they able to do that for you today?
Yeah, they played with a lot of passion today. I was very proud of them today.
Yeah, and we just talked to Alexis, of course, but how was it possible for her to kind of step up in Maya's absence?
Well, I think Alexis is a senior, and she's a starter in our program. She just struggled for a couple of games, but, you know, she came in here. I walked in the other night. She was shooting, and I think those things are important. And, you know, she's a really good player. She just needed to get her confidence back, and I think you're going to see the Alexis Lewis we all know and love the rest of the year.
And you talked earlier about defining a team, defining a season. Do you guys think you did that today?
I think it's a long way to go. Sunday's going to be a really hard game. We gave ourselves a chance to continue to have a successful season. We need to play well on Sunday.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Congratulations. Kim, John, let's send it back to you guys.
Very nice job here today. John Fanta, Kim Adams, wrapping it up with you from Walsh Gym. Kim, your final impressions of a day where the Pirates looked the part of a Big East preseason top 3 team.
Absolutely. We said right off the top, this weekend, very important for Seton Hall. A, just confidence-wise, after dropping 3 of their last 4. And B, standings-wise. Creighton was all alone in second place. I think this is a important note for the entire league. Obviously, DePaul seems to be just half a step ahead of everyone right now. They've had some tight ones, but they've been unblemished so far. But I think this shows that second place spot is up for grabs, John.
That's exactly right. We know that DePaul is at the top of the Big East at 5-0. What we don't know is who is going to fill out those slots behind them, and Seton Hall showed they can be a candidate. Want to thank Ashley Liotis, our sideline reporter, Kim Adams, my partner, and Dagan Hughes in our production truck. This is John Fanta saying so long from South Orange. Seton Hall snaps their skid with an 82-70 win over Creighton. Pirates back in action Sunday with Providence. The Jays are heading to St. John's. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of your Friday in Big East Women's Hoops. So long from South Orange.